What's going on, everybody? This is my 2000 Dodge Ram 2500. I'm gonna do some updates to it. I've been driving on the road. My wheel will be like that. I'm sure all y'all who have a second gen know. I got a PSC big bore steering box. I got it. I got the one that has ports because eventually, sometime next year, it's not gonna be the daily, and it will be just a fun truck. So I'm gonna put 42s on her. So I got this for future power steering assist. Well, hydro assist. I'm sorry. I got some Bilsteins I'm gonna put on it. Some 5100s all the way around. I got a Borgenson steering shaft because that truck's got 470,000 miles on it, and just need some love, you know. I did the BDS dual steering damper. I'm gonna try that for a while. Engine's got 470K on it, but about 5 or 6K ago I pulled it all out and did bearings and rings and head studs. It's got a hot rod VP on it, TJ Frayed tune. It's got a 64, 68 turbo on it, which I'm waiting on a wastegated turbine housing, and then I'm going to throw an 88 off my other truck onto it, because when I tow, it's a little big, but I already got the turbo, so I'm going to do it. But when I tow, it just sits at about 1,300. Unfortunately, because this thing's got 7x15s in it, which are, I know, ridiculous size, but she gets down for an old girl. You'd be surprised, the dash, after 480,000 miles, you can't see it, sorry, is basically brand new. It's never had a crack in it. I got a core shifter, short throw shifter in there. You can kind of see it. And then I'm getting some new seat covers coming. So it's a little white trash, just like me, but that's all right, you know. I'm going to put 44s on it someday, so I won't care about cutting things up, because this is just body rust. It's a Montana truck, so there's no rust anywhere else, just little places like that. But I'd like to flatbed it, but if I'm gonna just make it a fun rig, I'm probably just gonna cut up the bed and not worry about it. But I'm gonna pull the tires off. These are stock wheels. I don't know, what are these? These are old cheapo tires. 315 75 R16, so about 33 and a half, 34. I need to balance them. I'm gonna balance them here in a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna start taking some stuff off this and just get her driving a little more straight. I smacked a deer the other week, so I jacked up my bumper. It did sit good, but now it's got the typical Dodge droop. But I got hella light bars and stuff, so here in Montana you need such things to be able to see all the deer. But yeah, bear with me, let's roll. About a year ago, I did all the arms, all the ball joints, all the axle joints and axle seals, but unfortunately, things just can't stay clean. So basically, you got 3 bolts that hold that on. You got the pitman arm and then the steering shaft, and I had 2 hydraulic hoses hooked up to it. I think I got that from O'Reilly. My dad was driving it for a while, so I had to go get something quick, and yeah, O'Reilly gearboxes. All these gearboxes are trash. Honestly, everything's trash. Look at that. I just put those in a year ago, and jeez. Ain't nothing cheap on these stinking things, huh? So in a lot of these trucks, there's a couple options for gearboxes. A lot of guys like red heads. There's red tops, blue tops, green tops. They're all flops. Only way to do it is PSC. I installed these on a lot of trucks that I work on, 2nd and 3rd gen trucks. I had one on my 5th gen truck with steering assist, I'm sorry. Hydro assist. Sorry again. But basically, the way these gears are set up inside, they're on, I I don't know how you do it. They're on a basis like this. The gears look like that. And then the other set of gears, I'm no artist here, so don't judge me. The other set of gears like that. There's like basically 3 of them. And what happens is if, a lot of guys, the nut on top of this right here, a lot of guys will go in and try and move that. But basically all that it does is that adjusts the up and down of where these are meeting. So you don't want to fiddle with that. But PSC makes this output shaft is quite a bit bigger all the way inside. So you have a lot more surface area on your gears that are meeting. I'm no scientist, but that's how it works. Everyone I've installed, people just have nothing but great things to say about it. And I've changed out a lot of red tops, not just in the company, but excuse me, the red tops have the exact same output size as just your regular OEM or remanufactured one. So I know they're a little bit more, but trust me, buy once, cry once. They're worth every penny. You'll lose all your flop, all your slop in your steering. And, I'd rather buy this one time than those multiple times. Also, it comes pre-oriented. You want to make sure when you install it that these are lined up. That means that the gears are like this perfectly, not like this or like that. So you want to make sure your steering wheel and your toe is perfectly straight while this is straight. You don't want to move this to match whatever you got going on in your truck. So make whatever is going on in your truck match this. All right, so check this out. This is how much play I can move the steering wheel that much, and that end shaft doesn't even move. So that's where all my play is. No bueno. All right, tie rod ball joint, that's 21 millimeter. Your pitman arm nut is a 1.25 inch. Steering shaft nut is 13 millimeter, and then your hydraulic lines are 18 millimeter. The 3 bolts out here, 21 millimeter. Once you get those off, gearbox can come out. Up at the top of the steering shaft, up there's should be another 13 millimeter where it's coming out of the firewall. And I'll drop that out, put the new Borgenson shaft in, and then throw the new PSC steering gear in. So here's what I was talking about with those gears, that there's only 3 of them. They're kind of like 3 fingers like that. So when you adjust that nut, you're adjusting this. So you don't want to adjust that nut because it moves that, all it does is moves that gear up or down. And from the factory, they got that perfectly in tune. What they do is they send you 3 spacers. They send you all hardware, but they send you 3 spacers since the overall size of this is just a little bit bigger. The spacers help keep this unit off the frame a little bit. Just because it has a little bit of contact right here if you don't. Got old girl sitting low. Dang near touching cloth right there. All right, so you'll come from the top here to get at your steering shaft upper bolt. It's right there. If you get a long extension, just kind of fiddle your way down there. We'll pull this out. Once we pull this out, we can pull the whole arm out, replace it, and put the new one in. All right, y'all. So these steering shafts have basically 2 U-joints. There's one here, and it's pretty much the same as the drive shaft. They end up going bad. There's one rag joint right here, which the Borgenson kit deletes the rag joint entirely. One setback of it is you have to try and drill, because I guess this is for the steering gear end. You have to basically drill a hole in the side of your shaft, a little dimple for this set screw to go into. You want to use Loctite on that, because if you don't, these can tend to come out. So just use a blue Loctite. Red Loctite is good for holding, but a pain in the butt to take off if you need to take it off. So let's go ahead and get this put in. First, what you're gonna want to do is mark where your thing is in a line, you'll pull 2 set screws out. One's long, goes all the way through, right through the shaft right here. And then the other is just dimpled into there, set screw. You want to take this, put it onto your steering shaft coming out of the firewall. Make sure it's lined up so your steering wheel is straight. Put this on. Once you put it on, you want to mark the shaft. You want to make sure this is all the way up, and you want to mark this shaft. And it's a pain in the butt, but with a long, super long drill bit extension, you'll want to just dimple the side. Let me zoom in for you. You want to dimple, come on, focus. That flat spot right here, you'll want to dimple whatever side that you're marked just a little bit so your set screw can sit in there real nice. All right, as you can see, I got that one in there already in the dimple that's in there already. So I'm gonna take a fine tip marker, there you go, and mark this hole so I can drill it just a little bit and get it dimpled. Right there, just like that. I'm gonna pull that off. Basically with our extension, we're just gonna come out, we're gonna just drill a little dimple in there so it has somewhere to sit, and then we can throw this bad boy in. All right, now we're reinstalling the set screws. We got these ones. You're gonna put a little blue Loctite on the threads on here, and then a little blue Loctite on the threads here. So when you put the set screw nuts on, everything's Loctited down. These ones will pull back out. Put some Loctite on the threads in here. Install it onto the shaft coming out of the firewall. Tighten these down to the shaft, and then also put some Loctite on here, and then tighten down the locking nuts for the set screws. Because when you're in the shop and hear a helicopter, you always got to come out and see what's going on. Right, boys? You know the deal. All right, we got her on, all torqued up. The torque spec on this is German, good and tight. That's going to work for us. Make sure you put some Loctite on all your little set screws and lock nuts. Now we're going to lift the truck up, throw the PSC gear on, and then maybe put some shocks on. And I got some traction bars I got to install as well. Before I go up too high with it, I'm going to put my steering wheel lock on to try and keep the steering wheel as straight as I can. And be able to match the, just so I can match the gearbox when I put the gearbox on. Up, and away! As a reassurance, I usually put a jack up under the axle. I don't know, just so when I'm reefing on things and moving the truck, I just don't have to worry about it falling as much. But whenever I do this, I put a little note on my jack handle, so when on my lift handle, so when I got this little guy, put it right here, so when I come up to here, I know that that's there, because I've seen many times where people will leave this here, lower the truck, and then the truck just falls, and then you ruin things. And usually when you're working on a customer's vehicle, that can be pretty pricey. So now I've just got everything set up, got the bolts through, spacers on, and this is kind of how I have it set up. So when I get the gearbox up here, I can just send it. Just an FYI, the bolts that they send are 22 millimeter. Also, before you get too carried away, PSC sends new O-rings for here and here. Don't forget to put those on, or sometimes you can leak, but if they're all right, you can run it, but they send you new ones. Just use them. All right, she's in there. She's a thick old girl, but she made it. You can see, you can see kind of where it would hit if it didn't have the spacers. Those 2 ports right there are for the hydro assist ram when I get it in the future. But yeah, let's throw a pitman arm on and throw this tie rod in, see if we can align it a little bit. And we're driving straight, boys. So once I get everything lined up to the corresponding lines, my toe is pretty far out. So got everything somewhat aligned. I'm going to have to get the tires back on to be able to eyeball it a little better. I'm also going to change out these little dinky KYB shocks front and rear. And then I'll probably do the shocks first, and then we'll do the dual steering stabilizer. I got some 84-inch traction bars. I'm probably going to ditch the rear sway bar. And I'll weld them right here because that's most in line with the frame. And then, shoot, 84s are pretty long, so I think they'll come to somewhere right about here. It's a bolt-on kit, but I like to weld, so I got that's a fast 250 adjustable pump. I am eventually going to P-pump this truck, so I wanted to buy once, cry once ordeal. So I got an adjustable so I can have, right now I'm running like 18, 19 PSI to the VP, the hot rod VP. But I will eventually be running, 45, 60 to the P-pump once I do it. But I got it coming into this dual filter manifold right here. So I'll be able to adjust all my things. I got a bean sump kit. No, that one's XDP. Sorry, that one's XDP sump kit. But old girl's tired. She needs resealed on the back of the transmission. So I'll probably do some other stuff here eventually. But for right now, we're doing suspension, steering stuff, and traction bars. Because if you have traction bars, shifting with a manual is just immensely better with traction bars. So for shocks, I'm going to be using the Bilstein 5100s. I like these a lot. I had them on my 5th gen Ram. I was going to go with Foxes, but Foxes are really good for off-road purposes, more or less. They're a lot softer ride. But I'm going to be doing a lot of towing and a lot of just on-road driving with these. So I wanted to go with the Bilsteins because they have a little bit more firm ride. So I was going to take the sway bar off. Of course, I can't just pull these off. I got to pull this off. So that's a 19. That's an 18 for some reason, because engineers, smartest dumb people are the dumbest smart people, however you want to say it. And even again, I can't even just take this bolt off because the fuel tank's in the way. So thanks again to the engineers. I'm just going to have to fiddle my way getting that silly bolt out right there, and then drop the sway bar, throw that thing in the trash, and lower my truck down, drop the spare tire, because getting up here is a lot easier when the spare tire's out. And honestly, I need to get a bigger spare because that ain't the same size as those. Ha! Joke's on me. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. All right, let's find out. Joke's on you, sucker. Ain't nothing the Sawzall can't fix. Installed. Gonna put the spare tire back up, drop it down, do the fronts, and then it might be time to go inside and eat some food. Call it a day and do it again tomorrow. We'll see. All right, shocks are in. It's pretty simple. I was gonna do the steering stabilizer, but it's dinner time. And it's dark out because of daylight savings, but tomorrow I'm gonna get the tires balanced, steering stabilizer on. Fingers crossed I can get the track bar done. Tomorrow will be Sunday, and I got to put a car here to change the engine. So fingers crossed I can get that all done for you guys in this video. If not, I'll do traction bars and putting an 88 millimeter turbo. Hopefully I can do an under-over so I can keep both batteries. If not, I'll have to do a side-by-side and all the good stuff. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the morning. All right, back at it. Got the tires balanced. Looking at all materials for the traction bars. They send you some decent sized Heim joints. It's let's see, Longhorn Fab Shop, 86 inches, pretty long. They come powder coated, which is nice. So I don't have to do that. I have a powder coating oven over there, but yeah, it's nice I don't have to do it. Unfortunately, those didn't come powder coated, but I can paint those, I guess, after I put them on. One negative, I guess, is the bolts should be a little longer. You should always have bolt protrusion. That's meh. You'd always like to have at least a 1/4 inch bolt protrusion, just for your sake of mind. But we'll throw some Loctite on that hog and get it ready to rock and roll. I gotta clean the axle. I gotta weld the back ones on. And then the front ones, I was gonna weld them on, but I think I'm gonna bolt them up because eventually I'm gonna put some bigger springs in here and lift this thing up so I can run 40s or 42s or something. So I'd like to be able to adjust them and move them. So got the welder out, gonna clean up that axle, get these tabs welded up, and then try and get these things fitted up. You always want to make sure that you have weight of the truck on the ground, on the tires when you put these traction bars on, so your pinion angle's somewhat correct and all that stuff. So let's get to it. All right, time to do some math here. You want to put your gauge on the pumpkin, zero out on the pumpkin, bring it over here, make sure you are level with your pumpkin vertically this way, and then you want to come over on your axle shaft, well, your axle tube, and 180 on that, or zero out on that, so you can come over here and get a perfect 90-degree reference. 89.9, that's good enough for me. I'm gonna get this welded up. Forgot my spatter spray, but we did it. Both are welded up. All right, unfortunately, BDS dual steering stabilizers won't work on the 375 axle. I didn't know there was two different axles, but Skyjacker makes a kit. I'll just use them until I get hydro assist. Getting the traction bars mocked up, got them cleaned up on the frame there. I'm gonna weld it because it's boxed in, so I can't use the bolts. So I'm gonna get those welded in real quick. I heard some funny noises. And my tensioner's gone bad. My belt's been hitting the tensioner, so you can kind of see it not straight, but waiting on one of those. And then hopefully just get this thing out and driving. Middle of November in Montana, and it's 60 degrees. What in the world? Been a minute since I've thrown out some welds, but not too shabby. Got both mounts on. And now time to paint some stuff and hook them up. Oh, it's hard not to rattle can resto the whole thing, but that's all right. She's a dirty old girl. Both painted up. Wait for the paint to dry. Throw some arms up in her. Get the arms tightened up and then see how she looks. If you ain't got yourself a shop dog, get you one. Huh. You're a good dog. He's a good dog till he ain't, but he's a good dog. All right, got them on, all tightened up, everything ready to rock and roll. My seat covers came in. I like these Hovercraft Carhartt. They're made specifically for seats. They can get them for bench seats. Dash is flawless. Back seat's great. Headliner's drooping a little bit, but what do you expect? Get that squared away and then go drive this hog. Well, I gotta wait until this part comes, so wait until that comes and then go drive this hog. Hot dog, son. This fits real nice. Super tight. Not really fun to put on, but super thick. Don't have to worry about scratching them. Now let's do the front seats. Man, real nice. Super tight fit. Super tight fit. Real nice. It comes Velcro seamed right here to get around your seatbelt, and then it comes Velcro seamed right here to get around your handle. Under here, they have these 3 little clips that go around the seat perfectly. Pull it in nice and tight. Sits real good. It's got a little storage compartment right here. Man, make a white trash truck look real nice. And I didn't even have to put a 4th gen interior in it. So let's do the other side. All right, got them all done. On my 5th gen, it came with a little guy to go over this, which I was kind of hoping for, because the old grill is just a little shot right there. But I guess I could just try and find a new one of those. But this looks nice. Came out tight. Everything is tight and good. This is nice. It comes with a little pocket there too, which is handy. So yeah, not bad. A little, this could be tighter, I think, but the handle to pull up to make the seat tilt is there. So whatever, as long as it's solid, ain't nothing ripping through that. I got my new tensioner. Throw that on, hook up the batteries, and then take this thing for a drive and get it out of the way so I can do some work tomorrow. Feels nice to not wander so much. Usually like, whoa, 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 whoa. I can tell you I probably need an alignment still, but this thing actually drives straight. Unfortunately, when my truck was on the lift, the little crack I had, whoop, went all the way down. So I'll have to get that replaced, but shifting is definitely a lot better with the traction bars. The axle wrap being gone definitely helps getting it back in the gear. This is why I need another turbo, as I usually run about 800 degrees just driving, let alone when I'm towing. I'm usually it's hard to get under 1200 when I'm towing, so I run about 19 pounds of fuel pressure, and she gets down. I have a 64 and a half, 68 board Warner. It does pretty good. I'm waiting on a wastegated turbine housing. So once I get that, I'll get the other turbo on. But clean interior now, other than that guy. But we'll work on that little guy. Not bad for an old girl, huh? Man, that's pretty out. Thanks for sticking around if you guys have this long. Sorry I didn't get as much footage as I could have. I was just busy doing it, and I don't have something to hold my camera, and yeah, anyway, sorry. Hit me up on Instagram too, Cyanide Customs. I used to be Gears of Glory a couple years ago, and I had like 15,000 followers. I was almost, I was kind of getting there, right? And then I spoke out against COVID, and they deleted my profile, which is kind of bummer, but whatever. Happens, whatever. So starting fresh again. I just built my shop about a year and a half ago. Still building that side. Small town mechanic, Montana. And I tell you what, you'd be surprised how many cars are just pieces of junk. I stay pretty busy. So I got a good week ahead of me. I got a lot of content coming. I got compounds and dual disc on the truck that I just worked on. I got a 347 stroker that I'm going to put in one of my Fox bodies. I'd like to put a turbo on it. I got a Jeep XJ that I got 3/4 ton axles I'm going to put under it. But yeah, stick around. I'll have plenty of content for you guys if you care for it. But I really appreciate you watching the video if you did. Hopefully, if anybody has a PSC steering box that they're going to put in or something else, hit me up. If you got any questions, let me know. Happy to help. Y'all have a good one. I'll talk to you again. Peace.